All right, let's talk about why your guitar solos sound robotic, how to fix them, really focus on a little bit more of the solution-based things that you can use right now to make your guitar solos that much better. And we're going to focus primarily on starting your solos and how to take this idea of jumping in and starting throughout the rest of your guitar solos to build a really, really great story. So if you don't know, my name is Ryan Gahn. I've been teaching guitar players for around 22 years now, getting past this really robotic pentatonic plateau that we all get stuck into and really bridge the gap between their creative ideas and what they're able to play. Now, if you would, hit subscribe and the bell notification to get more videos on how to make your guitar playing better. All right, first idea, music is a language. I say that all the time. So if you've been watching my stuff, like that might be a little annoying to hear again. And the guitar is the voice that we're singing or speaking that language through. And when we're talking about improvisation now, we can think of improvisation as somebody tapping you on the shoulder and you turning around and looking at them and saying something. You don't have to know what to say because you've never been in this particular instance before, you know? And the context is sort of the rhythm, right? What's happening in the song when you get to your solo, right? Maybe it's a jam session or whatever. And really the idea is jump in and start. What you do not want to do is just start and meander and babble and say absolutely nothing. So the best way to just begin your guitar solos is short, repeatable phrases. Okay, we're already starting. That is going to be miles better than rambling up and down the scale, and that's where our roboticness really comes in when we're sort of playing. We don't know what to say. That'll give you solid ground to start and then move away from. Okay, I do have a really great couple of videos that I'm going to put in the description that goes into rhythmic phrasing and note choice phrasing as well, that you can really brush up on to know how to jump in and sort of start that. So think about the idea of like, you don't have to absolutely know what to do. In fact, if you do, it might not fit the situation that you're in. Just start and don't get lost in the beginning. That's your best bet. Just don't, as soon as you start doing this, boom, we're lost. I'm not saying anything, just, it's like babbling, right? But if I can just come in, right? 3 repeatable motif phrases that I kind of went to a little bit of a minor blues to resolve there at the end. That will cure so many of the robotic problems, right? If you could start with some grounding, it'll kind of keep you from going into too much of a meandering situation. And one little trick is, if you ever get there, you're sort of playing, oh God, what am I doing? I don't know. Just get right back to it. Play a couple of notes, repeat them as a motif, and you can then, in the middle of your solo, start with some solid ground here and then continue, right? If you find yourself getting stuck. The next thing that I want to sort of talk about is don't always start on beat 1. When we're talking about the rhythm being sort of the situation and music being the dialogue, right? The language, think of it dialogue over a scene, a movie scene. If we're always starting on beat 1, right? If every single scene changes, or the start of a movie, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. We might want a little bit of a lead in. Think about a movie that has like the black screen and a little bit of dialogue starts, and then the movie starts after, right? It has like a little bit of a lead in. It's a little intriguing. It's kind of nice, right? So if I were to say jam session, right? One more measure and it's my turn. 1, 2. Right? A little bit of a lead in before we get to the opening scene. Or maybe letting that scene play just a little bit before the dialogue starts, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Right? That little pause shows so much restraint and so much confidence in what you're playing to be able to start your beat 1 of your guitar solo, of your improvisational solo, without playing anything, and just come in when it's appropriate. That trick you could take throughout your entire solo. You don't have to always be playing. If we're going to think of scenes and scenes and scenes and avoiding playing on beat one every time, let's say we're talking about two measures, right? Two measure phrases sort of being the scenes of the movie. Don't always start on beat one. Play over the bar line. So if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, right? I'm not always playing, like stopping on beat 4 and playing on beat 1, right? Playing over the bar line, and not always playing two measure phrases. If you went to the movies and it was like an hour and a half long movie, whatever it is, and every single scene was just like 2 minutes, right? It would be so, I don't even know, just overpowering, daunting. It's just like, no, we have to be able to mix these up, you know? So if we're thinking of not starting always on beat one, we can also think of not starting our phrase or the next motif or the next paragraph of a story on beat one, and not always playing like super short phrases. Not every scene we're getting into needs the same amount of dialogue, right? Especially if we're going to build up and release, however it is that we want to crescendo, like our guitar solo. So some scenes, if you're starting to might right, that second part has less packed into it, you know? I could even go further. And then continue. Right? Whatever, you know, whatever it is that you're doing, I don't know. But that idea of really breaking up the pace of the dialogue is going to say so much, right? Don't have to cram everything in there. And that is going to be really expressive. And like we're saying, using space. If you're using space in your guitar solos, it just shows a level of confidence and like you really know what it is that you're playing. If you do have any cool ways that you express this through your guitar solos, I would love to hear them, right, in the comments below. When we're also just a little note choice, we're talking about starting on beat one, or ending on beat 4, right? That doesn't always have to happen. That's a little too constructed. Is we think of nursery rhymes, you know what I mean? They're always sort of starting on the root note for the most part, right? Really easy rhythms, right? Quarter note rhythms that always resolve back to the 1. The further we get away from that, the more creative and sort of expressive we can get. So if I want to do a little less of an easy rhythm, I'm always playing on beat 1. I have a really great rhythm tutorial that's in the description. But if I want to, I can start accenting more of those 16th notes. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, right? Just a way of playing slightly off is going to make it that much better, as well as not always starting, when we're talking about beat 1, not always starting on the root note of what it is that you're playing, and not always ending on the root note of what it is that you're playing. So to not play on beat 1 and also not play on the root note on beat 1, like kind of avoiding the 1 in both ways, sound something like this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right? Kind of leaves you wanting that little bit more, you know, not just rhythmically, but melodically, you know, especially landing on that flat 7. So going back to these ideas of sounding a little less like a nursery rhyme, a great trick is, let's say if I was an E and I was going to start, instead of, right, starting on, I mean, that just generally sounds like a nursery rhyme. I can start shifting the rhythm. Right? Adding a couple of faster runs and a couple of slower notes. The thing is, I'm still messing with the rhythm, yeah, but I'm starting and ending on my root note. So where's my starting note going to be, right? If we want to push that conversation, a great trick is starting on a suspended. Right, that 4, that A, that is going to really land and say, oh man, I gotta go somewhere. Same with a 2. If I were to go that F sharp, it's gonna really want to pull down and sort of resolve back down to the 1. Now, if I'm doing that, I can start messing with the phrasing as well, the rhythmic phrasing. So now I'm starting on a suspended. I'm not starting on an easy note like the root note or the 5th, maybe the 3rd, starting on the 2 or the 4, and then the rhythm is also going to be a little bit more interesting, and then the further we get, maybe I want to start doing some chromatics in there, if I'm 2, 4, 1. I'm messing with the rhythm. I'm starting on the 4 and I'm starting to add chromatics. We're just getting further and further away from easy melody and easy rhythm and being able to push along a little bit more of a story. Those are just some tricks that I really wanted to throw in there. Another great one is if I'm just playing in these patterns, can I break that up? Maybe play something that's like a 7-note pattern in a rhythm that's 8. So 7 eighth notes, but it's going to be 7, so it's not going to catch up to itself. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, and then end on the on a chromatic, a sharp 11. All ideas that I would like you to try. Now, if you are finding yourself in that really robotic pentatonic plateau that we all get into, and you want to break out of it, really bridge the gap between your creative ideas and what you are able to play, I have a free training below. Talks about getting stuck into the plateaus, 3 tricks to get yourself out, and a little bit of a mindset to continue your learning so you don't keep getting stuck in that plateau. And then also, if you would like, there's a link for a free call, for a free consultation to see if you are right for our Fretboard Fluency Mentorship Program. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.